Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. It's Monday the 15th of May. I just got a few things I want to talk to you guys about. It should be quick, pretty fast. Hey, if you remember back on about 2 weeks ago, I guess it was the Central Bank of Iraq basically launched the Banking Supervision Reporting System. Okay, what that did is it created an environment of unifying the database, and it is going to be used for their tracking of money. I believe, and we all believe, I think that the system was an integral part. So I brought it back up again today. Basically what it is, in my view, it was just more evidence that the banking sector is being unified. And you can see that as we go forward and over the last few weeks and months that they've made headroads. It isn't just kicking the can. It's been a process, complex process that's going to have to interconnect with the region. It has to interconnect with the world and the central banks, and to have this international accepted platforms, if you will, is really kind of important. What they're doing is they're creating environments so everything's fast. It's going to rectify the potential risk for the financial systems. The point of sale system is going to be in place. That's going to be ATM machines, your cards, all that stuff. We all know about that. The Unified Treasury Account was basically the money for the citizens. That to me was, and to others, we believe is directly related to the HCL or the oil and gas. Okay, and we're seeing more of that happening today. We'll get into that in a minute, but just wanted to bring that back up because, to be fair, it was probably highly likely that the IMF and their Article 8 reporting requirements to go international, they would need a real new effective exchange rate, or real effective exchange rate. So that's probably stuff that's been on the table. That was a few weeks, 2 weeks ago. There's within the last 4 or 5 days, there's the Loan Guarantee Company, which is the International Finance Corporation, and that is going to be an important step too, because if they have the ability to do loans and create products that were going to be for the banking sector to sell, because banks aren't just about deposits, they're about mortgages, they're about loans, they're about securities, they're about lots of different things. And so Iraq's banks will be able to do that, and the regional banks will be able to communicate and get together. Because you're going to have different countries doing work. You have the United Arab Emirates today, you've got Germany coming in, you got the United States, you got China. We're going to be building houses. So all these banks are going to have an interlinking network, if you will, but to establish the Loan Guarantee Company, it's basically an important factor to stimulate lending, and by reducing default rates that are suffered by banks. So all those foreclosures that happens in the world, hopefully that won't happen as much, and that's where the guarantees come in, that's where the investors come in, and that's where the bankers come in. So to push forward, today the Kurdistan government has fulfilled its obligations in the oil agreement in Baghdad, and they must send the salaries. It sounds like those salaries have to be paid, and they will stop effectively, or they'll be created or treated in a different manner once the approval of the 2023, 24, 25 budget is approved. They didn't say voted on, they said it was to be approved. It sounds like the Council of Ministers have had it, and I believe that they potentially have approved it. And I'll even go so far as to think that from one of these articles I have, that the COM and then have completed the third reading. That's what it sounds like. They said they may have postponed some of the items in that article, but at the very top, they say today that they voted, or they were discussing it to complete it. Basically, in this particular article, the president of the Kurdistan regional government was the Masroor Barzani. He announced with the regional government that he's fulfilled his commitment to the oil and gas with the federal government. it was Barzani said during the meeting that of the Kurdistan Council of Ministers, which was yesterday, that they found a way to finalize this. They're awaiting the final agreement, and that's going to be with the federal government, the Turkish government, and that's going towards to resume the export of the Kurdistan oil. So we're going to have to see how that turns out. If they're going to start pumping, they thought that they would have already started that, but I think that there's a reason that they haven't done it, and I think that's possibly because we're talking about needing an international exchange rate. And so because these contracts or these oil sales will have to be done through these new electronic systems. So it could just be something that they're waiting for. But what is really a big deal today, it says the federal government must send those necessary budget amounts to the regional government to pay salaries and to those who receive them until the approval of the draft federal budget, and which will be securing the region's rights, the financial dues, and the federal budget. So they go on to say the Council of Ministers also discussed that it says after deliberations and discussions, the Council of Ministers unanimously decided to vote on reorganizing public finances throughout the region through the centralization of revenues, liquidity, expenditures, and salaries. And to achieve this, it was decided to organize all sources of revenue in banks, treasuries, border crossings, and tax and fee directorates with the aim of protecting public revenues, as well as linking them through an electronic system. So that right there is all the things that I've been talking about. That is a huge paragraph. It means that we've pretty much nailed it. We know that they've been talking about this, and here they're telling you that's exactly what they were doing. They're going to have those revenue streams, all of which I just talked about, to protect the public revenues. They're going to do that and link it through an electronic system, and that was on the plate today. The Council of Ministers basically authorized the president and his deputy to find the necessary and appropriate mechanisms to support ministries and agencies concerned with the implementation of these decisions. They authorized it. To me, that sounds like a green light. It looks pretty good. Again, those items of revenues, liquidity, expenditures, and salaries, all of that stuff going through all the directorates, a centralized platform that's going to unify both the Kurdistan region and the federal government, and they've done that. We have an article also that comes back to a little further on here that is solving all the problems with Baghdad. I think we'll go with that. So the representative of the region says we'll solve all the problems in Baghdad in accordance to the Constitution. And it goes on to say that Baghdad and Erbil are heading to solve all the problems between them in accordance with that Constitution. I guess it was either today or was it yesterday. They had their last meeting between the Prime Minister, Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, President of the Kurdistan Regional Government, Masroor Barzani, and it resulted in a talk where there were opportunities to serve the people of the region and the general public, their needs. Once again, it says, therefore, we should forget the problems of the past, so let's not bicker about the past, let's get moving on. And as they see it, they want to take care of the citizens, what their wants, and get to the appropriate solutions for them. And those appropriate solutions are probably going to be somewhat similar to what they had a long time ago, significant purchasing power. So putting aside the past and starting a new phase of the good relationship to preserve the interests of the federal government and the people of the region, that's exactly what they're talking about. They want to make sure that the citizens are taken care of, and we'll see how that turns out. So I think these guys are probably pretty happy about this, that things are moving along. The photographs that I saw today, looks like they're pretty darn happy. It says the Minister of Planning with details of the importance of the Iraqi Emirati Forum and announces the government support for the private sector. This article right here is basically talking about a qualitative leap for economic, financial, and investment activities. So they're really getting at here is that they're moving towards the private sector and investment, and that they're not turning back. They're going into a market economy. That's what we've been saying about the 2023, 24, 25 budget. It's operational, and it's also investment. and it's going to need to be probably very, very stable. That's the whole idea, is because if you're going to be doing the reconstruction effort and going into the private sector, you're going to need to try to keep pricing in control so that you don't have massive fluctuations of goods and services when you're trying to keep pricing stable to do the building, etc. So it says the private sector has begun to find its right steps in contracting more with its counterparts in the countries of the region. So basically, contractors from different countries, whether it be the UAE, whether it be Jordan, whether it be Saudi Arabia, whoever, they're all going to be coming in, and the private sector is going to be, part of all that. And it says that the Iraqi government is basically completely ready to support all the facilities that are required to provide suitable environment for businessmen. The primary role that the private sector can play in increasing the economic growth rates and reducing dependence on oil through the development of non-oil sectors and the industries is exactly what they've been telling us that they were going to do. It's telling us now that they are in the process of doing it. And that is fascinating, because all these electronic platforms we talked about already, the Buna platform, the ISCUDA platform, the data systems, even with the SWIFT system, is all about communication. It's all about moving money, and it's going to be for future development of the country. So you have countries like China, like I said, Germany, the USA, the UAE, all making deals. Total oil company, all of that has been around and coming to town. And so basically, at this stage, at the end of this, I like to see that the Finance Committee, I have to say, the Finance Committee, which is headed by the Representative Atwan Al-Atwani, his presence and the members held a meeting on Monday to complete the reading of the items of the federal general budget. And it says the Iraqi Parliament broadcasted that today, and it's effectively Article 2 of the paragraphs related to the mechanism for covering the deficit through the surplus achieved from the sale of oil and other revenues, in addition to discussing items for including investment projects funded by grants and loans, and expanding the investment door, and involving, again, the last thing is involving what? The private sector. So all of these things that are in the forefront bring us to a position that I believe that we are watching Iraq go international, and we're going to see how they do this in the next few days. So enjoy. If you like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to join us at Patreon, where we have our vibrant Discord chat room and all the ultimate wonderful information that we get on a nonstop basis each night and during the day. So come join us.